as they say in Berlin, Germany, Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Doesn't sound as smooth as Buenos Dias or some other languages, but Guten Morgen is the way they say it. We are reading in Mark. We're reading through Mark and learning more about Jesus. Remember, a little review, Mark was not one of the original 12 disciples. He and Luke of the 4 Gospels were not. Matthew and John were. Most the critics or the commentators say he got his information from Peter. He made careful investigation into all these matters pertaining to Jesus's life and death and resurrection. Remember now, even in the 4 Gospels, if you put them all together, and there's duplication a lot among the synoptic Gospels, that's Matthew, Mark, Luke, it's a fraction of what Jesus did for 3.5 years, and it's hardly anything about what he did his first 30 years. We know nothing about what he was 24, 21, 28. So then it's 30 years old. He appears to be baptized by John the Baptist. And then we find out that probably at 33, he finishes his ministry, but every day was filled with all kinds of things that we know nothing about. What do we know? What God knows that we need to know. The Bible doesn't answer every question that might come up in our mind, but it gives us what we need to know to have faith in Christ. So he has now come over the Sea of Galilee, and he's been confronted by a demon-possessed man who we read about. And when he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and, he ran down and knelt before him, and he cried out with a loud voice, "What do you have to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you before God, don't torment me." For he had told him, Jesus had told him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." "What is your name?" he asked. Jesus did ask him. "My name is Legion," he answered him, "because we are many." And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the region. So we've already reviewed here as a parable of what Satan's sin, and in this case, extreme demon possession case, is teaching us. No human could restrain him. Chains he broke. We touched on that last time. And that's a picture, of course, that no human resolve, no human forces can restrain sin. Only Jesus can break the power of sin and cleanse from the guilt of sin. Only Jesus. The law was given. It revealed God's holiness, but all the law could say was, don't steal, don't kill. Now, how not to do that? The law has nothing to do with that. No enablement. So now Jesus is dealing with someone totally out of control, and yet the evil spirits in the man, they recognize immediately who Jesus is and was then. Jesus asks, "What's your name?" They say, "Legion." So now it's a case of a man who has multiple evil spirits that are controlling him, possessing him. And he, the lead spirit, it seems, begged him earnestly not to send them out of the region. A large herd of pigs were there feeding on the hillside. The demons, or possibly one manuscript reads, all the demons, begged him, "Send us to the pigs so that we may enter them." So he gave them permission, and the unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs. The herd of about 2,000 rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned there. Just a comment here. I am not that knowledgeable that I understand everything about wanting to enter into the pigs. But notice this, they didn't want to leave the region. So it does seem as evil spirits have territories where they operate in, unlike God who operates everywhere. Number two, there definitely is every indication that these were Jewish people who were owning the pigs, and that was against the law. The law of Moses forbid owning and eating pigs, unclean animals. So they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Why they wanted to possess flesh, even if it meant pigs, does seem to indicate that there's something in evil spirits that they want to possess and dwell, not roaming around, but in a body. That's what they seek, a resting place in a body. I don't want to go into demonology. We're reading from Mark, but you can look at other verses that might give enlightenment on that. The men who tended them ran off and reported it in the town and the countryside, and people went to see what had happened. They came to Jesus and saw the man who had been demon-possessed sitting there dressed, before he had been mostly naked, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. What an awesome thing Jesus can do. He can take the worst situation. Humans can't solve it. There's no power to hold it back. For example, if you are racist and you hate people of another race, they can make all the laws they want. They can teach whatever they want in schools. Nothing stops hate except God, who's love. So we learn here that Jesus is the answer to every kind of problem. He overcomes every kind of evil. You got it? Let's remember to pray for those that we love and we know about who are in the grip of evil and of Satan, because Jesus is the only answer for them. And what an encouragement, this story, why Mark put it in here. It shows that in this most extreme case, it doesn't say Jesus yelled and that it took him 2 hours to get the evil spirits out. As the Son of God, blessed be his name, he just spoke out. Leave him. And they had to obey. He is Lord. He is Lord. He is risen from the dead, and he is Lord. Let's serve him today and trust in the power of his name to confront every kind of device Satan would throw against us. Let's do it today. See you next time.